Hey y'all, it's Asia. Today we're diving into a creepy cute story set in World War One where orphan kids do something unthinkable to survive. It's unsettling, weirdly fascinating, and yes, giving cannibal mukbang meets tragic backstory. Let's explore why this is both cute and horrifying. This is Empty Eyes. The story takes place in 1917, right in the ruins of World War One. We see a limping soldier leaning against a tree, trying to catch a break and smoke when two small children suddenly pop out of nowhere. One of them casually tells him smoking is bad for his health, which I'm sure he's like, okay. The soldier raises his gun, but instead of running, they just tell him if he's hungry, he can follow them or stay out there and starve. They load him into a wheelbarrow and bring him back to the orphanage, and in one of the upper windows, there's this round, red-headed kid smiling, saying it's time to prepare dinner. The soldier asks if they live there, and the kid comes down to greet them. He introduces himself as Maurice, the son of the orphanage directors, and says he'll handle dinner. They sit the soldier down and bring out this polished metal tray. He sees his own reflection in it, and the second he lifts the lid, thwack, Maurice straight up decapitates him. No hesitation, while casually commenting on how his axe swing is improving. He looks at the other kids and asks if this scrawny soldier was really the best they could find. They tell him it's been hard to find fresh meat lately, but Maurice don't care. He tells them to get ready for dinner, turns to Ophelia and tells her to set the table with flowers and make it look nice. Meanwhile, Otto is already complaining because he don't want to eat this man. Ophelia tells him to stay out of trouble while she goes to wash up, and Otto wanders off into another room. Inside, there's this tall glass case filled with porcelain Victorian dolls. He just stands there staring at them for a second, then suddenly goes shh, like they can hear him, and runs out. He catches up to Ophelia before she starts bathing and tells her he's scared. He wants to find Momo. Ophelia reminds him Momo is dead and tells him to leave so she can wash the blood off herself. Otto sneaks back downstairs into the kitchen. Maurice is sitting there, talking to the soldier's severed head. He actually apologizes for it, says its sacrifice won't go to waste. Then he picks up a spoon and starts scooping this man's eyes out. He drops them into a jar already filled with his comrade's eyes. And while he's doing all of this, he's just talking, rambling about how they'll have plenty of time to talk and how his parents gave their lives for the orphanage too. As the last remaining nerk, he expects more orphans to show up once the war ends and rebuild the business. He also hopes they don't get hit with typhus again, which, if you don't know, was a massive epidemic during World War I that killed millions of people. It could also explain why we see random dead bodies in the children's rooms. Maurice catches Otto watching him and corners him while Otto tries to explain that he's just scared. He doesn't want to be alone. But Maurice is a bully and tells him the only thing he should be scared of is his meat cleaver. Then adds that if they survive the war at all, it'll be because of the meat that they stored in the freezer. And just like that, he orders Otto to go help set the table, and this time actually put some effort into the flowers. Ophelia and Otto go out to collect kerosene from deserted military vehicles before they pick up flowers. Otto asks her if she's scared of Maurice, and she tells him not anymore. They continue looking for kerosene, but Otto doesn't really know what he's looking for and almost opens a container of chlorine gas before his sister quickly scolds him. They head to the greenhouse, and it's clear Otto is just scared. He tries to play it off like he's only scared of Maurice, but he's really scared of everything: the dark, the bodies, and the bombs. He asks his sister how she's able to keep the flowers growing, and she explains that as long as they have good soil, fertilizer, water, and light, that they can grow. Otto keeps asking questions and eventually wonders why Maurice is so afraid of people making eye contact with him. He asks Ophelia what she thinks, and she figures he's scared too. They sit down for dinner, and Maurice is already glazing his culinary skills. He takes first dibs on the tongue, and encourages them to try what he calls the delicacy of the brain, even putting some on Otto's plate. Otto says he's not hungry, and that immediately pisses Maurice off. Otto is holding a butter knife, and Maurice catches his own reflection in it, which seems to irritate him even more. He grabs up Otto and pulls a knife on him, threatening him. Ophelia, she doesn't react. Maurice tells Otto that even his own sister would let him die. He throws him out of the dining room, and Otto makes his way to a room filled with cots, and it's filled with the bodies of the other orphan children. He talks to them, saying he knows he needs to eat, but he'd rather starve. He says he misses his dear friend Momo and wishes they were still alive. He sees one of the orphan's dolls and goes to place it in the glass case with the others. He knocks on the case and says he's still creeped out, but he's just giving someone's dolls back. Then he breaks down a little, yelling at them to leave him alone. He says he wasn't the one who took them, and then we hear Maurice's voice asking what he's doing in there. Maurice asks Otto who he's talking to. Otto says he's looking for Momo, and Maurice reminds him that Momo is gone forever. He tells him to go help with the dishes and then go to bed. Flowers in hand, Maurice Maurice walks into another room, apologizing for not coming earlier and for changing the flowers. And this is where things get kind of disturbing. We see a dead woman holding a deceased child along with what looks like Maurice's entire family. They're all sitting on the couch stiff as hell and none of them have eyes. It looks like his mom, dad, and 3 siblings. Maurice casually sets up a camera to take a family photo. He starts talking to them, asking what he should do about the last 2 orphans. He explains the entire orphanage was wiped out by typhus, but they survived. He imagines his mother responding, saying the other kids are still useful for scavenging, so he doesn't have to go outside himself. While he's talking, he's fixing her up, grooming her, adjusting her like she's still presentable. Just 2 more bodies, and he can finally get rid of them. He tells his mother he misses her, that he knows he wasn't the best son. Then he starts arguing with his dead sister, saying he misses her too, and sometimes he wishes he could just be with them in death, where there's no pain, no hunger, and no eyes watching him. Otto and Ophelia are cleaning up the dishes when Otto goes looking for a washcloth. He goes up to the pantry and finds an entire cupboard filled with eyes. He spots a jar full of eyes, one that clearly belongs to the other orphan kids, and he quickly steals it. Later, when his sister passes out, Otto sneaks off to the room with the dolls. He shows them the jar and asks if this is what they wanted. Then he starts giving each doll a pair of eyes. He asks if they'll leave him alone now, and then he leaves the room. And that's when the dolls start talking, and they're actually quite happy with what he's done. One of them says he finally figured it out, and another comments on how scared Otto is, and someone else goes, well, can you blame him? Look at us. They ask one of the dolls, Amelia, how long they've been dead, and she says about 2 or 3 years. Then they decide to get up and go for a walk. They move through the room with the orphan beds, looking over their own dead bodies. Amelia throws a little shade like, Sophia, your hair wasn't any better before, and I'm not gonna lie, she bald-headed as hell. They realize no one ever moved their bodies. They go over to Ophelia and notice how much she's grown, but also how thin she is. They're sad that they'll never grow up like that. Then they make their way to Otto's cot. He's awake, but he's hiding under the covers. One of them, Jan, asks if he remembers her and if he wants to play, but Otto ignores them and pretends to be asleep. They tell him not to worry because soon he won't be afraid of them anymore. The next day, Maurice calls them down and tells them they're going out to scavenge for more meat. He warns them not to bring back anyone diseased. They suit up and head out to the battlefield, but everything out there is already dead. They consider digging up someone out the snow, but they decide against it, knowing Maurice's greedy ass wouldn't even want that. Then they hear a plane overhead and realize it's about to crash nearby. They follow it and they find an injured soldier. They help pull him out just before the plane explodes, and he thanks them and introduces himself as Lieutenant Heiner von Haas, asking how can he repay them. He even mentions that they'll probably get a medal for this, but they brush it off, saying he's already fighting for their country. They bring him back to the orphanage and Maurice greets him, inviting him inside to get something warm to eat. The soldier is surprised it's just the 3 of them and offers to send help, saying it's too dangerous for kids to be out here alone. Maurice says that they can talk about it tomorrow and tells the kids to go fetch dinner. Otto pulls Ophelia aside and tells her this is their chance. This soldier seems like a good person. He could help them get out of this nightmare. But Ophelia shuts that down real quick. She tells Otto they need to remember something. They're not victims. They're accomplices, and nobody is going to have sympathy for what they've been doing. Maurice says it's an honor to have a war hero, and the soldier's just happy he's not eating barracks food. Maurice smiles and says, well, you're in for a surprise. That's when Otto takes his chance. He screams, run, he's going to kill you. But before the soldiers can react, Maurice swings the axe. The soldier tries to defend himself, but Maurice just keeps hacking at him. And once he's done, he turns to Otto and tells him he's going to regret snitching. Otto, terrified, backs into a corner. Maurice tells him his sister isn't going to save him. And in a rare moment of courage, Otto rips open his shirt and tells him to just get it over with. He looks him dead in the eye and says, if you're gonna kill me, you're gonna do it while I'm watching. Coward. Maurice raises the axe again, but Ophelia steps in and grabs it. She tells him, if he kills Otto, then he'll have to kill her too, and then he'll have no one left to help him. Maurice pauses, then he walks away, telling them to get out of sight and go to bed hungry. Maurice heads into the kitchen to prepare his latest victim and starts talking to the lieutenant's severed head. He debates killing the kids, but realizes he still needs one more body to survive the winter, so for now, they live. He thanks the soldier for his sacrifice and keeps cooking. Back in the sleeping quarters, Otto is panicking. He's telling Ophelia they need to leave now, but she's exhausted and just wants to sleep. Otto keeps talking, saying he wishes he had Momo, and that's when Amelia appears. The doll tells him to follow him. They lead him down into the basement where the rest of the dolls are waiting in a storage room. They're trying to figure out if Otto can recognize them. One of them asks if he knows who they are. Otto takes a guess. Sophia? And the doll is like, yeah, dummy. They point out Jan too, the quiet one, and they tell Otto that they can help him. Otto's confused, asking how, and they explain thanks to him, they can see now, so they owe him. Amelia asks if he wants to see Momo, and they lead him to his friend. Otto asks what it's like being dead, and they tell him it has its perks, but they're not planning to stay that way forever because they have something to do. He worries Maurice might see them, but they reassure him. Maurice is upstairs snoring like a pig, and the others are keeping watch. They tell Otto that they'll help him because it's not his time yet. They go up to the roof where Momo is sitting, and we see a worn down little teddy bear. Otto runs to him, hugs him, and says he misses him. He begs the dolls to fix him, and Amelia tells him that they'll try. The next day, Otto says he slept like a log. Ophelia, on the other hand, stayed up all night watching Maurice. Otto tells her she doesn't need to protect him anymore. Their friends are protecting him now. He even tells her that he found Momo, but Ophelia just looks at him kinda sad. Meanwhile, Maurice is already in the other room on some bullshit. He's talking to his dead mother again, saying he made a mistake in his calculations. The German soldiers was the last body he needed, which means now he can eat Ophelia and Otto. He argues with her, insisting he can rebuild the orphanage by the summer. Then he grabs his axe and he heads towards their room. Ophelia steps in front of him and tells him to move so that they can leave. Maurice tells her not to make this harder than it has to be, and then he starts swinging. He keeps yelling at them, telling them to stop looking at him, and Ophelia shoves a lantern in his face, taking off running. They retreat into the basement and meet up with Otto's friends. And just as things are spiraling, we hear a voice from outside asking if anyone is home. No one comes to the door, and the soldiers outside start getting suspicious when they see fresh footprints in the snow. They walk in, saying it's safe, and they're just looking for their friend, and that's when we hear Maurice yell, "Leave." He tells them this is private property, but the sergeant says they'll leave after they check the place. They're looking for the pilot who crashed, and they're asking if they've seen him, but Maurice denies everything, knowing damn well they had brown stew pilot last night. He tells the sergeant to stop looking at him, which makes the soldiers laugh, and they start searching the house anyway. They find Otto and Ophelia and order them to feed them. Maurice tries to say they don't have the food, but soldiers can smell the meat and basically demand a meal. So now Maurice is out of options. He makes a deal with Otto and Ophelia, help them feed the soldiers, and he'll let them go tomorrow. The soldiers sit down and they start eating. One of them says it's a little salty, but still, thanks for the food. And right as he says it, his comrade pulls something out of his mouth, and it's a medal. He just stares at it like, what the hell is this? And then it hits him. He's eating his friend. They jump up immediately, call them monsters, and pull their guns. Now they're searching the house for real. The sergeant sends them to check the kitchen, saying if they did what he thinks they did, no war could justify that. They go to the freezer, and they don't just find their comrade, it's a whole stash of bodies. Cut up, stacked, hanging up like cattle. And the sergeant doesn't even hesitate. He walks right out and tells Max to light them up with the flamethrower. But before that can happen, Ophelia pushes Maurice into one of the soldiers, and her and Otto run. Maurice immediately switches up, and he starts playing the victim. He's thanking the soldiers for saving him, saying those devils were gonna kill him and eat him next. The sergeant still doesn't fully believe him, but he tells them if he helps them find the kids, they'll figure out what to do with him later. Meanwhile, Otto takes Ophelia to the dolls. The one with the pink hat introduces herself as Amelia, saying they used to be best friends. And Ophelia, she just stares at her. She's not even surprised. And the dolls pointed out that she's deader than they are. They tell her that they can help, and they lead them into another room. But Ophelia doesn't really understand how a bunch of dolls are supposed to go against soldiers. They explain they can't die, and they see everything. They warn it's only a matter of time before death comes for all of them. And then we see Momo, the little bear, being put back together. Back with the soldiers, they're trying to figure out where the kids went. Maurice says they know the house better than him, so he doesn't know where they could be, and he know he lying. The sergeant splits the team. They notice a long sheet tied together like a rope, and they go outside to check behind the trucks. They're setting them up for an ambush. They see that they're in there, but when they pull the curtain back, Otto, Ophelia, and the dolls are already there, and they're aiming chlorine gas tanks right at them. They blast the soldiers, but in the chaos, one of the soldiers fires into the truck, and it tears Ophelia's gas mask, so now she can't breathe. Otto tries to give her his mask, but there's no time, so they just run. The soldiers, they drop instantly, just frozen in place, dead. Ophelia is getting weaker, but Otto tells her that they still have unfinished business. If Maurice is still alive, they have to finish this. The last soldier, Max, and Maurice are checking the rooms when they run into the dolls. The dolls just casually start talking to him, saying hello, asking why Maurice never introduced his friend, and saying that their parents are going to be very, very angry. Both of them freak out. Maurice keeps yelling at them to tell them to stop looking at him, but the dolls won't stop, and they tell him soon he'll be just like them, and even when he dies, they'll still be watching him. Max, he snaps. He grabs the flamethrower and tells them that they can go back to hell, and the dolls just go, okay, but you're coming with us. And when Jan pulls the ignition rod out, Max realizes it's too late. Max screams, no! And Jan smiles, yes. And then everything explodes. Maurice gets thrown out the room, and when he looks up, he sees 3 burning dolls walking towards him, still staring. That's when he realizes he knows who they are. He runs downstairs to the pantry, realizing what Otto and Ophelia did. But when he opens the jar, it's empty. All the eyes gone. Then he hears a voice. You've been a very bad boy. He turns around and he sees Momo, but it's not the same Momo. This version is huge, it's stitched together, and it's covered in eyes. And now Momo is speaking, saying mommy is very angry with you. It starts listing everything. He lets his siblings die, the orphans die, his own parents die. We see his mother, his father, all of them. And his father says he needs to be punished. At this point, Momo isn't just Momo anymore. It's everything. It's his family, the orphans, maybe even the soldiers all combined into this one monstrosity. He was right. He did know the dolls. The dolls were his siblings, and his mother and them rush him. They grab him and they burn together until there's nothing left. Otto and Ophelia make it back to the house just in time to see what becomes of Maurice. Otto says goodbye to Momo and tells his sister that they need to leave, but Ophelia is weak and she's fading. The house is burning down all around them, and he puts her in a wheelbarrow and starts pushing her out, trying to get to safety. But then when he looks at her, she says that she can't see. He keeps going, trying to make it, but Amelia tells him to leave her. She's one of them now, and Ophelia dies. We see Otto holding a spoon while Amelia, Jan, and Sophia tell them that they're going to join the others. Otto begs them not to leave him alone, but Amelia tells him that he'll never be alone, and they say goodbye. They walk back into the burning house, completing their mission. A week later, a truck passes by, and a nurse spots Otto on the side of the road. They pull his mask off, and he looks exhausted. Dark circles, blue lips, barely there, and they realize that he's another orphan and tells them to come with him. They'll get him food and something warm to eat, and he laughs. He says, "Yeah, that's what we used to tell people." Then he looks at her and asks, "Will you eat me too?" But she doesn't understand. She does promise him warm broth, bread, and a place to sleep, and he agrees. He asks if she can leave the lights on all night, and she says yes. She also tells him to bring his doll and says it's really pretty. She asks what her name is, and he says, Ophelia, and they drive off. Yeah, I'm not even gonna overcomplicate it. This story is just sad. Like, it's entertaining and it's pretty wild. It's definitely one of those what the hell am I reading type of stories. But when you really sit in it, it's just a messed up situation all around. Otto, he's really the only one who didn't fully lose himself, and he was scared most of the time, but he still knew right from wrong. And even though he survived, he's not the same. His sister, she's gone. Like, mentally she was already slipping, and Maurice, he just completely snapped. Like, yeah, he's evil, mean as hell, crazy, but at the end of the day, he was still a scared kid trying to survive in the worst way possible. And that's really what it comes down to. War is just ugly. And just like this extreme version of what it can do to people, especially kids, I will say the dolls, I love them. I'm not even gonna lie, they were funny in a weird way. But yeah, this one was good, just in a sad way. If you liked what you heard and you enjoyed this comic, please subscribe. And again, thank you guys for supporting the channel. It means a lot. So yeah, class is dismissed, and I'll see you in the next one.